This series has arguably been the most important in college football over the past 15 years, since Nick Saban stepped on campus from LSU, NFL stop, then Alabama. This game between LSU and Alabama most times is significant across the college football landscape and plays heavily in the SEC championship. Once again, that's the deal for control of the West here in 2023. Welcome to the Voice of College Football. Best discussion, debate, and analysis, not because of me, but because of you, your participation. We appreciate you being here. Please join us throughout the week for the best in college football talk all the time. That's what we do 24/7, 365. This had shades of 2019 to a certain extent. Two tremendous teams, talented quarterbacks. No, I am not elevating either one of these to Joe Burrow or Tua Tagovailoa status. I am not doing that in any such way, but we shall see. I'm sure there are plenty of NFL players on the field. And of course, this is about a team. This is a team sport, but we'll start with Jalen Milroe because he took a beating of criticism from all sorts of people, social media, fans, critics all over the place, after the performance against Texas, the one Bama lost this year, and then, of course, whatever happened to this offense and Jalen Milroe as he sat out the game, and then the rest of the offense looked like it was falling apart the next week against a low group of 5 team in South Florida. This Bama team and Jalen Milroe has come a long way since then. Did you ever doubt it that Bama would be a contender? They defeat LSU in a really good ball game, 42-28, as they break free in the fourth quarter of this one. Let's take it from the beginning, and we knew that there would be big plays in this game. I really favored Bama in this matchup because of the defense, that the LSU offense would get theirs, of course, but the Bama defense against an LSU defense in that comparison that is historically bad. Actually, they played well, I don't want to say they played good. They gave up over 500 yards of total offense and were abused at times, but they made some stops at times to give the offense some chance. Malik Neighbors made a drop early, but he made up for it. There was a roughing the passer against Jaden Daniels early in the game. I did not mark down who that was, but I couldn't believe. Actually, the CBS broadcast, Danielson and Nessler didn't know who the call was against. They didn't have it on tape. They didn't have it on replay. Phantom call, didn't know what that was. But anyway, that helped the LSU drive. And then it was Malik Neighbors again, 46-yard touchdown as he just went by the secondary. Nobody picked him up. 10 catches for $171 and 1 touchdown for Malik Neighbors this year. LSU quickly at 7-0. Nick Saban was not happy on the sideline after that play. Then Jalen Milroe didn't take time in this game like he has in others to get warmed up, to get started, to get cranked up, and to get lathered up. And in the feel of the ball game, right out of the gate, he was ready to roll. Improvising when he needed to improvise on pass called plays. And then on others, they ran him a lot. They ran him on called option plays, and they have really found an identity with this Alabama offense with Jalen Milroe and what he does best. What does he do best? He runs. He's one of the best runners in college football. And then he opens it up deep. He loves to lace it deep, and he looks pretty throwing that football plus 30, 40 yards. First drive for him, there were designed runs, there were improvisation, and then passes downfield. He scores the touchdown and makes it 7-7 ball game at that point. Jalen Milroe on this day, 20 carries for $155. Are you kidding me? And an Alabama record. Remember, Kenny Stabler was a runner. Joe Namath was an excellent runner. This is before the knee problems. They were running quarterbacks, not passing quarterbacks, as college players. Jalen Milroe scores 4 touchdowns. That's a Bama record for a quarterback. Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas, I was stunned, and let this soak in. Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas right now have better statistics than Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase did in 2019 in the process of catching 60 touchdowns. Joe Burrow threw 60 touchdowns, not all to them, but to let those numbers sink in, that is amazing because that LSU offense, of course, arguably the best in history, and those guys are churning out better figures right now. Neighbors had a big night, and Thomas did not, 3 for 36. LSU went for it on a 4th and 1, but Malachi Moore broke on the football, well read in terms of the play, got his hand between the receiver's two hands, broke up that play and stopped LSU inside Bama's 40. Greg Penn did the same a couple drives later where Bama was in a good position to score a touchdown. Greg Penn blows up the screenplay. Excellent read on that one. Forces Bama to kick the field goal, and they missed on that one. All touchdowns in this game. Both sides missed field goals. Jaden Daniels, of course, running the football. He's a huge threat. 15 of 25 passing, 219 through the air, 2 touchdowns and 1 pick, 11 for 163. Both quarterbacks went plus 155 rushing the football. Laser shot to Kyron Lacey with 5 seconds left in the first half as LSU took it right down the field. We had a 21-21 ball game at the break. Back and forth between Milroe and Daniels. It looked early third quarter like it was going to be Milroe and Daniels. It looked like if you got the wrong game and you were flipping back and forth between Penix and Caleb Williams and then JD and Milroe, that you could get them confused. Like it would be another Washington USC back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But the Bama defense stood tall, got 3 consecutive stops. There was a sequence of plays that proved decisive here. First of all, the LSU center, the redshirt senior, Charles Turner, had all sorts of issues with false starts, which is difficult to comprehend because, of course, he's the guy that starts the play. The play starts with the center, not the quarterback. We learned that in Football 101. But at the same time, maybe miscommunication between he and Jaden Daniels. And, of course, Nussmeier had to come into the game. More on that because that was part of the key sequence here. There was a play on a key third down where Dallas Turner batted the ball at the line and Terrion Arnold picked it off at the LSU 25, and that led to a Bama touchdown. So you had a sequence of plays where the center was having issues. That turned into false starts that put LSU behind the sticks. You had the big play from Turner and Arnold. That coming off the Milroe, another drive down the field for another 7 to go up 35-28. Then you had Harold Perkins with a horse collar on Milroe. That gave Bama the 1st and goal after Perkins had thrown him for a TFL. Dallas Turner later called for a targeting on Jaden Daniels. And although that was a positive yardage play for the LSU offense, Jaden Daniels out of the game, got hit right in the face. I thought it was a bad call on Turner. Don't want to go through that. It really didn't matter in the final result. But Jaden Daniels had to leave the game for one play, and like a trooper, he's back out onto the field. Remember how rail thin Jaden Daniels was as a freshman quarterback at Arizona State, and he's still a pretty thin dude in all that he has to endure as a running quarterback. But on the next drive, they took him into the tent, probably for a concussion protocol right there. So Garrett Nussmeier came into the game. More exchange issues, snap issues between he and the center, Turner. And Bama just kept converting third downs. At one point in this game, late in the ball game, they were 11 of 13, and that's when the game was decided. So anything after that in regards to stats, pretty meaningless. Bama, 11 of 13. That goes to offensive line play, and that goes to quarterback decision-making and play calling. Really good job by Bama on that side of the football tonight. And when it came down to it, the Bama defense stood tall in the second half after giving up 21 first-half points, just one touchdown early in the third quarter off that Bama defense. They were rock solid and rolling to a 42-28 win. Jace McClellan looked like he would be a huge factor for this Bama team in the first half, not so much in the second half. It was all Jalen Milroe for the Tide. Bama takes control of the West. They're 6-0 in conference play, 8-1 overall. We saw Ole Miss earlier in the day take on Texas A&M and survive 38-35. Check out that instant analysis video. And, of course, subscribe to our SEC channel. You get the link down in the description section of the video. We do SEC previews all week. So please check out the SEC channel. Grab the link in the description section. But Bama goes to Kentucky to take on the Cats next week. They've got Auburn 2 weeks later after the scrimmage game. the Tide is controlling the West. They would have to lose 2 more games because they've got a 1-game lead over Ole Miss, and you might as well say 2 because they won the head-to-head. This was LSU's shot tonight. They're a really good football team, but not much of a defense. They're ranked about 95th to 100 in most of the major metrics, yards per play, points given up, and that's after playing 2 putrid offenses the past 2 weeks in Auburn and Army. And LSU's season from a championship standpoint over. 6-3 on the season. Florida and Texas A&M, their 2 conference games left. Your thoughts about the Tide? A probable matchup with Georgia in the SEC championship game. And of course, they've got to win out the last 2 SEC games to put themselves in a position for a college football playoff run in Atlanta. LSU and Bama. Let's talk some more down in the comments section right here at the Voice of College Football.